Hey, what's up? We are live. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to another Finest Purpose podcast. My name is Ilya Kaz with my co host, Lenny Bradley, and we are here to help you transition from your part time real estate investing to a full time real estate investor.
That's
What's
right.
going on?
What's going on, everybody? We weren't here last week. Had some unfortunate circumstances on my end, but everything is all good, and we are back. I'm happy to be back on. Um, and yeah, let's have a great time. There's a bit of a lag. I don't know if it's coming from my end or your end, Ilya.
I think it was mine.
Okay.
Yep. But what I was saying is typically people I like to ask this question if um, working during the holidays, like, how does that affect real estate? And I figured that was a good question, good topic that we could cover today. And yeah, we could dive right into it.
Yeah, yeah. I would say it's definitely tough to balance, especially for instance if you're hosting something at your house like me, right? Like we're hosting Thanksgiving, we're gonna have family over, and there's a lot of planning, there's a lot that's involved when it comes down to that. But yet you still have to make sure that with it being November, that I'm able to, if I don't have deals by the end of the year, I at least want to be working on something so that once the new year does come, there's something that's ready to be developed into a deal, right? Like it's something that's pending, and maybe within the month of January or the beginning of February, we can close up a few deals that actually begin to be worked on right now in November. But it can be a little tough to juggle in between the holidays, and then not only us, but a lot of investors themselves, or people that will call it up, they're busy with the holidays too, so it might be a little tough to get in contact with them to set appointments and things of that nature.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a good point. A lot of times people don't realize when you're hitting the holiday season, like everybody's doing the same thing. Like the sellers don't want to sell their house, and they have Thanksgiving if they're hosting it, if they're traveling, right? I think tomorrow is the biggest traveling day in America. Like everyone's traveling, everyone's driving. No one wants to get into a contract and start doing everything with selling the property. Um, what's going on, man? Yeah, so we got somebody just in the comments saying, "Good evening, gents. Kaz, keep up the good work. Thank you, brother. Appreciate you. Um, Go ahead, you can join." And yeah, man. So we have a few people like who get angry, obviously, if you try to call them. And we know they're off too. So it's kind of like a double-edged sword, right? Like, do I call them because I know they're home? I know when no one's working tomorrow, no one's working on Thanksgiving, no one's really working on Black Friday for the most part. Everyone's got, a whole week off. Do I call them because if I haven't been able to get them on, now they will be on? Or do I just call it quits and say, you know what, it's a holiday, let me leave these people, um, you know, alone and then see what happens afterwards? Um, that's the question.
Right, right. And I think for me, like I said, it's just I don't want to take my foot off the gas, because momentum is everything in this business. I'm starting to realize, and once you take that foot off the gas, the compound effect begins to slow down. Like it's about building momentum, but with building momentum, it's also a compounding effect that works as well. So people might not be ready right now, but they may be ready when it comes down to February. But if you don't continue to call and follow up and to touch base, these people will never know who it is that you are until February or until January if I would have waited. So I would rather them know who it is that I am now as opposed to trying to introduce myself to them in January and then from there following up, following up, following up, and then it might not develop into anything until, you know, March, April, and then by then it's late. I want deals the beginning of the year, January to mid February. I'm setting goals to at least have two to three deals that close.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, absolutely, bro. And those are realistic goals. You know, it's in this business, people don't realize it's not like somebody's gonna go into a shop and go buy a coffee. Like, I want a coffee, I'm gonna buy it right now. In this business, you are dealing with follow up, and I always say it, but until recently, some of the people I'm mentoring, they were like, "Man, you know, like I finally understand what it means that the fortunes and the follow up." You keep saying that, and I just didn't understand it. I thought I'm gonna call somebody, they're gonna say, "I want to sell," and we sign the agreement and then buy it. That's not the game. The game is it's the follow up game. Whoever can outlast the follow-up game on people and nurtures their needs, providing a plus service, is the one who's going to get the deal. And just like Lenny's saying right now, if you start speaking to somebody in November, all right, and most people you're going to speak with, they're not ready to pull the trigger and say, you know what, I want to sell and I'm ready to move in 2 weeks. They need time to find a place. They're in transition. They have a new job. They got hired. They need to pick out the neighborhood they're going to be living in. And those things take time. So, even though tomorrow is a big travel day, honestly, we're going to be hitting the phones tomorrow because there's a high enough chance of people actually picking up the phones while they're on the road, answering while they're driving. And if they have a big enough reason to sell, they're going to answer a bunch of questions while on the road. They don't have a problem. So I actually encourage a lot of people to hit the phones on I wouldn't say like the day on the holiday, because then people are sitting down, they're praying over their dinner. But tomorrow is a pre-holiday travel day. That's going to be a good day to call, and I expect high connection rate.
Yeah, no, that's very true. And Ilya, I don't mind you using me as a primary example of being one of your students that said, you know what, I underestimated follow-ups. And I think this is something that I've been learning with me hiring a accountability coach. And within this program that I'm in, they spoke about, it's a chart called Idea to Excellence. And it's different stages. It's 5 stages. The first stage is a stage of optimism, the stage that you think you come up with this idea and you think that everything is going to run smoothly. Get to stage 2, you start to realize it's not going to be as easy or smooth as you think it is. And then you get to part 3, which is the Valley of Despair, where you realize that this is a lot harder than it's going to be. And in the Valley of Despair, one thing that the founder of this company, Commit Action, pointed out is that seeing success early can be detrimental, just as detrimental as if you were not seeing success at all. And what he talked about with that is that when you see success early, which I did, with us working together last year in September, within 2 weeks, we got a deal for $35,000. So I was like, oh, this is a quick walk. This didn't involve following up. It was just, I called the person once, they didn't pick up. I called again, and then boom, we just got things rolling, and it ended up closing within another 2 to 3 weeks.
That's right.
So, and even with the other deals from, moving forward, it didn't really take following up. These were fresh leads. And the only follow-up that was really involved was just to gather more information, to set appointments, whatever the case may be. But it wasn't like a follow-up, oh, I'm not ready right now. So, hit me up in another 5 months, or I don't want to sell, and me continuing to follow up. So I was like, oh, maybe follow-up isn't as important as Ilya or as others may say, even though I knew you've been doing it for a while and you're not going to steer me in the wrong direction. I was just like, if I've already made deals without having to follow up crazy, I could continue to do that. Until I went into my database in Podio, and we didn't have any leads pending, or any deals pending rather. And I began going back to people that I had reached out to in the past and did not continue to follow up on a consistent basis. And then when I go and I would click to see what was going on with the home or Zillow, or if I would call them up, they told me that the home was sold. And this happened on multiple occasions.
Man, does that hurt or what?
It burns. It burns big time, because I know for a fact that it could have yielded me probably like another $40,000 to $50,000.
That's right.
and us working together could have yielded you some extra money as well. So
Yeah.
it's a hard lesson. It's a hard pill to swallow. But now I'm doing what you said, like living my tasks. I go into my task. I see who it is that I've paid for leads for that are not picking up their phone, or that I need to continue to follow up with to make sure that I exhaust that lead to as much as possible. I paid for it, so I have to make sure that I get my money's worth from it. So, with that being said, that's why I like, with realizing how important follow up is now and how many deals I've left on the table as a result of not following up as on a schedule or a steady schedule that I should. That's why I don't want to stop hitting people now, even though it's holiday season, because I'm going to end up following up with them in January or December, January, maybe February, and then it might not pan out into a deal until like April, May. But at least I've already building a rapport and establishing, hey, I'm Lenny, and I work with Purpose Over Pension, and I also work with somebody.
Yeah, absolutely. Well said, bro. And actually, I wasn't talking about you initially. I was talking about another student, but I know the School of Hard Knocks taught you that also, that lesson of the fortunes and follow up, man. You can't let it go, and that happens so many times to so many people. It happened to me, and once it happens, just like my mentor initially said, he's like, you'll never do that again. And I've never done that again. You are just going to be setting reminders, hitting the phones, making sure you're following up with them, sending them greeting cards for the holiday season. So this way that you're in their mind and they're always thinking about you. So whenever they are ready to pull that trigger, make a decision and sell the property, you're the first person they're going to remember because you've been on that follow-up game, right? It's important.
That's right. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I would say, I think it might be something like with me thinking maybe I should slow down. I think it just comes down to, but then saying no, don't slow down, because when we were police officers, we were still working those holidays.
Yeah, it's true.
We were continuing to work those holidays, and as much as we want to be civilians, and I mean, we are civilians, but as much as we kind of a normal workforce, we're entrepreneurs. Like, it just doesn't apply to us. So I've come to realize, like, I haven't made it yet. Like, I haven't made it where I could go on vacation and chill out for Christmas and take the month off or take a couple weeks off. Like, I'm not there yet. So,
yeah.
And even when I am there, I'm not sure how long I'm not even sure when being there would be there, so I just have to keep going. Like, I haven't made it yet.
Yeah, bro. Yeah. Well, that's what it is. Like, when you get really full, that's when most people get lazy, right? They say, like, the gator gets killed when he's full because he's lazy. He's not hunting. He's not going after his prey, right? He's just got his belly full and he's just taking it easy. But just like the gator, we need to continuously stay hungry and always look for the next deal. Because honestly, if you have a slow month or a couple months, then it's going to be a problem for you. If you have nothing in the pipeline, I've seen businesses close, honestly, just because they don't have anything lined up, and they're like, they took a month or two off, and when they came back, they had nothing in the pipeline. And by the time you get something in the pipeline, 30 to another 45 days with no money, it could really put you in a bad situation, to a situation where you might have to actually go get another job somewhere, in the meantime, or go back to your police work, whatever you're doing. And that's the reality of it.
Yeah. And that's not a reality that I'm trying to have. I'll tell you that much.
That's it, bro. And I know you're like, I'm not leaving, man. I've left, and there's no way I'm going back. Like, I burnt the ships, right? So that's right. What you did also. You're like, and you were close to retirement, bro. You were like 2.5 years, like, like away. But you're like, no, man, I'm not doing it.
Yeah. It's just, I knew I had to throw myself into the fire. I knew that the fire was going to be this hot. No, but there's only one way to find out, and that's just by doing it.
That's right.
There's a lot of lessons that I'm learning, that I have learned, that have come with trials that I've put behind me, and I've just chalked up to be learning lessons. That I would not be able to get if I had security.
Exactly.
Mindset that's beginning to change because I don't have security. It's either I change my mind so that I elevate and I become better, or I feel sorry for myself and I think, oh, well, hey, I have experience as a police officer. There's other police departments that are willing to hire me, so I could always go there. Like my father lives across the street from a captain that works in a neighborhood near him in Delaware. And he said, listen, we're still looking for guys. You have the experience. We'll start you off at 85K.
Oh, wow.
85K down in Delaware will take you pretty far. And I was just like, I said, nah, it's just like I've started something and I'm not going to quit. And that's one thing that I've learned, especially recently with entrepreneurs. The best entrepreneurs, they just don't quit. They figure it out and they cut back on what they need to. They take every so-called failure and they're turning it into a win. And that's what I do.
Yeah, let's go. Exactly, because it's only a failure if you stop, bro. That's the reality behind it. If you stop, then you failed. But if you fall and you get up and you keep going, you're still alive, you're still working, you're still grinding, right? It's not a failure because you learn something from it. You have a good lesson from it, and now you're pushing forward and you're getting some sort of value from that lesson. It doesn't become a failure, it becomes a lesson.
Yep. So, while traveling down to Delaware a couple of days ago to take care of some family members, I was listening to a book called 3 Feet from Gold, and the book's
good book.
Oh, you read it? You listened to it?
Yeah. Good book. Go ahead, brother. I don't want to interrupt your point.
No. I mean, the book talks about 2 gold diggers. One guy, he found a location where he believed gold to be, and being that he didn't discover anything, after I don't remember how long he was digging for, he stopped. And then somebody else came in. But not only did he come in and say, I'm going to figure this out, he actually hired the right people to help him learn about mining for gold or digging for gold and what to look for specifically. He hired outside help to assist him instead of thinking or having an ego that he would be able to figure it out on his own. And he did not quit. He knew that the other guy quit, but he said that he was going to work smarter. He was going to hire professionals to assist him. And, one thing that I'm realizing is just like, we're working with you. You know what I'm saying? I've had people, like my father be like, oh, well, I think that you could do some of this on your own. Like, why are you splitting your deals? I'm like, I'd rather have some money than no money. You know what I'm saying? If I'm working with somebody that, one is a good friend of mine, he has great ethics, great morals, and then also he's an expert in this space. So why would I try to continue to do this on my own just for a payday here and there, every now and then, as opposed to working with somebody that could hold my hand and, split profits with me. But just having help and hiring people also helps with not quitting, because you have accountability and you also have somebody that you see there with you, or that's, sitting there right there with you, whether it's virtually or not, that is proven that they have not quit and that they made it happen. So, within that book, it spoke about many successful entrepreneurs. Like this guy, he wound up being an intern for a guy, and the guy that he was interning for would send him on interviews with a bunch of other entrepreneurs that were known for building crazy companies. And the number one thing that I took from it was just don't quit, and to make sure that you hire the right help. So, I'm applying that to this wholesaling business because I have a better understanding as to what my purpose is and what my why is. And if I would have stopped that, anybody that's on here that's watching this, I can't be an inspiration for. Not only that, but it would be me insulting Ilya because he's taking a lot of time with me, put a lot of energy into me. And for me to not follow through with the things that he has shown me, would just be, it would be a waste of God's resources. So,
I appreciate that love, brother,
yeah,
and integrity. And it, the world lacks a lot of both of those traits, those qualities. And I'm glad, bro, that you're one of the few people who are like who understand, see, and appreciate it and apply it. And that book, brother, is literally just teaching that, man. You don't know how close you are to your next breakthrough, and most people quit right at the finish line, literally right there, and they're like, you know what, that's it. I can't do it anymore, and they give up. Where consistency is honestly the part that's that most people lack. They'll do it for a week, they'll do it for a month, they'll do it for 2 months, and but without seeing the results, they end up quitting. They're not visionaries, right? Like, okay, I see the picture, I see that I want to get there. Now I have to travel the road to get there. They only could see, as far as their nose. They're like, oh, it should be right here. Ah, it didn't work. All right, so then I have to quit. My wife told me, my friend told me, my neighbor told me, this doesn't work. And I heard it so much when I was in the police department. People are like, man, I tried real estate, man. That doesn't work, dude. It's not real. But like, it doesn't. They just discourage you, and they weren't consistent. And if they were consistent, maybe they tried it for a short period of time, and they were 3 feet of gold away from gold, and they called it quits, right? They threw the shovel out and got frustrated and went out back to the 9 to 5. And that's a big reason when you quit the police department, you burn your ships. You have no we call it like a safety harness, right? Whenever you have a safety harness, you're not gonna take it as serious because there's always a chance to turn back and say, if this doesn't work out, then at least I have a job, I'll be all right. Where you
right,
cut off that safety harness, that line, you're free climbing a mountain. You're like, I have to make this work because my life depends on it. Because if I fall, there's no line that's going to catch me. There is no paycheck that's coming in two more weeks. This is it. So you're going to fight tooth and nail in order to get to that destination that you're really trying to. You're going to have late nights, and you're going to sit down and grind for 12 to 16 hours because you have to, right? And your family depends on it. Because if you really think about it, man, before as cops, we were, forced to do doubles and triples, and we were like, ah, man, like, but you would still do it. Why can't we apply the same exact, man, and still do it in our own business, right? A lot of us just get too comfortable and say, you know what, I'm the boss, and the ego plays too soon. It's like, bro, you haven't made it yet. You really need to sacrifice. And that's the problem. Like you said, when you close your first deal too soon, you think the next one's going to be easy, and you can fall for that trap where it isn't easy, and you're like, yo, you know what, maybe you just got a lucky one, and then you end up quitting. Because I've seen that also too. People are like, yo, I closed my first deal in 2 weeks, and then nothing happened in the next 2 months, and I quit. Your case is different, bro. Like, you close your deal in 2 weeks, first contract 2 weeks, closing like whatever, like 20 something days, and then you got something, but it fell through and you didn't give up. So sometimes the obstacles are the ones that are small tests to see how much do you believe in it. Do you have faith this is the way to do it? Do you have faith this is going to work? Or are you just searching for a quick high and I made a bunch of money, and if it doesn't work, I'll go find something else? Or are you in it to win it? Are you here to grind and build something that can be passed on to your family? Right, where your family can look back and say, listen, my grandfather made a decision, and that decision changed the trajectory of our family, right, of our last name.
that's right. Before our live, I was going over because before working with you years before I I started wholesaling through learning about Brent Daniels and his course, and I took the TTP course, which is talk to people to learn how to call people on the phone and stuff like that. So I'm still in the group, and there was a guy that started wholesaling I don't know if it was full time or not last year. Um, and he in the group he only posted one of his deals that he made $15,000 on after 13 months of cold calling. So
Wow.
I'm guessing that he was doing it part time. But I say this to say today he posted that he had his most successful month so far, in which he made $200,000 net to him
Wow.
because he wouldn't give up, and it's actually in your market.
Wow, bro, that's incredible, man. Props to him for not giving up, man.
Yep.
That's what it takes.
$200,000, and he just started last year, and he said he wasn't going to give up. And in his post, he said for anybody that is feeling discouraged, anybody that's been pounding the pavement and they're not getting anything, he's just like keep pushing, keep pushing, keep pushing. And he was like, you're gonna get there. So I mean, $200,000 in slow season, but that started with him working on it when it wasn't slow season. You know what I'm saying? So
Exactly. Yeah. And bro, shout out to that person, whoever he is, man. Like, you need to see that, and that encourages you, right? Some people's like, oh, you're just flexing because you made a bunch of money. No, you don't understand. Somebody needs to see this video who's down on their luck or they're really striking out, and they need to be like, yo, that's me. That's gonna be my paycheck, man. That's gonna be me who hits the home run, and I'm gonna be the next person to get $200,000. So,
that's right.
hi, bro. And shout out to my buddy here, Connor. I haven't seen this guy in a long time. He's given us a lot of love in the comments. He's given us love and he's given us likes in Facebook. So big shout out to Connor. Thank you, bro. Good seeing you, man. Hit me up after the show. But yo, let's get encouraged. Let's get encouraged, dude. Slow season and he just crushed 200K. I'm encouraged right now. Like I'm like, let's go. Like I'm gonna hit the phone tomorrow also.
Yeah, and it was off cold calls from what he said.
Wow.
Probates.
Wow. One deal, or was it a few deals that closed?
There was 2 deals.
200K deals. 100, right?
No, one was like 1 and some change, and he actually split it with a partner.
Wow, that's incredible.
Mm-hmm. And then the other, I think it was like one was like 163, and then the other one was 40 something, and that was shared with another partner. And he actually paid 5K to have it disposed, and then he paid 5K to the buyer's realtor.
Wow, bro! Shout out! Let's go, man. Yeah. I'm giving this person applause. And I think I know who he paid. There's a dispo there in my market in Florida who like will charge 5K to dispo deals. He probably used the same guy, but that's funny, bro.
Well,
you know what I mean? You're not gonna be upset. You're like, all right, I paid this guy 5,000, and that 5,000 resulted in 200,000. So
yeah,
it takes money to make money. So
yeah.
You can't be. Some people get like discouraged and like, oh, I have to pay these people. I gotta pay him 10,000. What's 10,000 if you're gonna make 100,000?
Nothing.
Right? Nothing. It's nothing. It's a tenth. You're like, all right, cool. You just add zeros to it, right? And just the scarce mentality. That's another thing that we could discuss next week. But in reality, all right, we have a question here on Instagram. Making progress. He asked us, do you do all the cold calls yourself? That's a great question. I don't. I hire out. Did I do cold calls in the past? I did for a very short time. And I was like, no, my time is more valuable than that. I'd rather pay somebody for $5 an hour and they can make phone calls and I can focus on, higher mind tasks, right? Higher value tasks. You have to understand that person's getting paid $5, $6 an hour. They're very good at that position. So you just want them producing leads. But if you're good at closing deals, what are you doing cold calling only, right? I was building a company, so I couldn't focus my time on cold calling. For me, I saw the value in just hiring out and having other people produce leads. I was good at qualifying leads and closing them and going taking them home. I was good at building out a business. I was good at writing scripts. Like that's what I was focused on, right? Like growing out business, the CEO of the company tasks, and I don't regret it. So the cold calling is important, but when you first start, yeah, you got to make the calls yourself. If you have, I always say there's two ways to market, right? Do you have time or do you have money? Because if you have time and no money, then you're making no phone calls. But if you have a little bit of money, you can hire somebody, even part time, and then you go from there. So
yeah, like I'm cold calling. I cold call on my own. I don't have anybody else. I've tried hiring people in the past, somebody from the Philippines, because so many people made it seem cool to outsource it, even as a beginner. I think that if you're a beginner and you want to hire somebody, I think that you are making a huge mistake when it comes down to cold calling. And the reason why is because you don't know what to teach that person.
yeah, yeah. And that's the thing. People try to like save money. They're like, "Yo, I'm not. I don't know, man. I don't know. Like it depends. Also, like sometimes you think I'm gonna hire this person and he's gonna kill it for me. I'm gonna make so much money. And that's what happened to me. I went to an event. I got really hyped up. I was like, "Yo, we're gonna crush it." So we came back from an event, and like within 2 weeks, we had 10 cold callers. Not realizing you have to supervise them, you have to do call audits, you have to do all these things to make sure they're performing. And our business was like going up and just went right? Because now as managers, owner of the company, I got so deeply involved in now running the day-to-day operations, and then hiring role managers and stuff like that. It became hard. So obviously, I would recommend finding the best company and then hiring them if you have the luxury to do so. A lot of times people try to save a couple dollars like myself and hire and say, I'll train them. I want them. Bro, don't waste your time. Focus on high level tasks, because those high level tasks get you high level results.
Right. Yeah, I'm right there with you. And another thing, I am seeing that there are so many people that are in the realm of this wholesaling business or just real estate that are so quick to throw money into marketing and into whatever it is that they feel will bring them more leads. And then it winds up getting them in a tough situation. I've realized that I want to stay as lean as possible. Try to keep my expenses very low and then make a good amount of money and come up with a proven system before dumping a bunch of my money into marketing or into other resources or hiring other people. The crazy part of it, I do the PPL has worked, and I think the combination of PPL and me cold calling is great. But what's crazy is that I've gotten deals from cold calling, and I've gotten deals from PPL. But the two most recent ones have been from cold calling. Not to say that PPL doesn't work, because it does, but it took me a while to get to the point where I could. I'm not saying I mastered cold calling either, because my sales game needs improvement. But as far as having conversations with people, it's pretty good to get to the point where I can close.
Yeah, and like that's the thing. Like I was against cold calling, during the slowdown, let's say like 2 years ago, right? But because it's really slowed down because the market did get a little tough with interest rates spiking up. But you started getting a bunch of good leads and deals from cold calling. I was like, whoa, man! Like I need to consider launching that campaign once again.
Do you think it's because there's so many people that are trying to move on to the next marketing method that maybe not as many people are cold calling? I think they are, though. I think people are still cold calling a good bit, right? Because it's the cheapest.
Yeah. People are definitely trying other things. People, I notice in this industry, people are like they're always trending and they're always looking for like, what's the next hot thing? What's the next best thing? Oh, people are doing AI. I'm gonna do AI. Oh, people are posting on Facebook groups. I'm gonna do the Facebook groups. They're always trying to find something. What's next? Not realizing you got to be doing what people aren't, right? So, for example, I'll tell you what, like bandit signs. Who's doing bandit signs nowadays? Very few people. We ran a small campaign recently, and we got pretty good results. We got, I think, one deal or two deals off of it, right? $100 worth of bandit signs, and pulled in a deal. And it's like, whoa, no one's doing that, right? Like you look at the old things because people are always looking what's new, what's new. Look what's old and what's no one doing. People, you're right. People stop cold calling because it just like myself, like you know what, it probably doesn't work anymore, and I never got back into it, but it clearly works for you, right? And you're pulling really good deals out of it. It's same thing with like bandit signs, even like Craigslist. People like Craigslist. I'm like, yes,
Yeah.
use Craigslist. Like I use Craigslist sometimes when I'm trying to find a service or trying to post something. There's deals in Craigslist. You guys are just sleeping on it, right? You have to look what you got to do what people aren't doing.
That's true.
Now,
That's true.
you get blend in. Everyone's running ads. All right, then you're running ads and you just look like everybody else.
Right. That's true. That's so true.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Let's get a Craigslist deal, bro. Come on. Let's get it.
You know what? I'm gonna run it. I'm gonna run the play. Let's go. I'm gonna run it.
We used to do heavy marketing. We dispo deals and we pulled in Craigslist deals. My first deal was for Craigslist. The very first deal, lady had it on the market. Her realtor wasn't providing a good enough service. She wasn't happy with it. She listed on Craigslist, and then I spoke with her. I presented her an offer. It was too low for her initially, but she liked the quick close and the easy service, and she called me back like 2.5 months later and ended up closing that deal. So can't sleep on it.
Yeah. I wanna try to get a deal with every marketing method that's out there, just to see how it works, you know?
Yeah.
And I really, one thing that I want to focus on for 2025 is just becoming a staple in whatever market that I'm working, like to become a professional, you know, and be the go-to guy instead of just being like this wholesaler. I don't know. I see your cheese in there. I don't know if that's from like 5 minutes ago or if that's like right now.
I don't know if it's a delay in my camera, brother, but no, man. I like your goals. I like the goals, bro. You need to have goals. And you know, we're wrapping up the year. And you know what we typically do it towards the end of this year, we set goals for next year, we prepare, and we plan out and strategize.
Yeah.
That's
I already have a new LLC that I'm setting up, you know, just so that things are running smooth with the taxes and you know, when it comes down to creating a website, like I want to be the guy. Like I don't want to just be a hustler. Like
That's
I want
right.
to be a real estate professional. I see some of these guys that have their own websites and they have houses up that look, you know, professional pictures and presented well. And I'm like, this is who I want to be. Like, I don't want to be looked at as like, oh, he's just another wholesaler. I want to be that guy that's like the professional real estate investor or the professional real estate company that can serve those that need my services. Like that's
yeah.
It's no more, you know, side hustle type situation. Like it's the real deal.
Yeah, bro. Yeah. And then we have a comment here on Facebook. He said he's listening in. He's like, I'm listening, trying to build a plan, my brother. Yeah, bro. You just strategize, make that plan, make a decision, man. You got to make a decision that you're gonna make a change. And you, if I'm still, remember, you live in Florida, bro. And Florida is one of the greatest markets. Florida, Arizona, Nevada, great markets to get into real estate. Super easy to do deals, bro. So you know, after this, just reach out to me, DM me, and you know, I grew up with this guy, so
there you go.
Yeah, and it's just interesting, bro. Real estate is bringing us back, man. You know, reconnecting us.
Yeah, and you know what? I think next week we should let people in on what it is that we have planned for 2025.
Yeah.
You
I like
know,
it.
as far as building a community so that people that are looking to transition or to supplement their income through real estate by way of wholesaling or buy and hold, we are setting up a community where it will be free, and we're gonna be helping with that. We're gonna be assisting, just helping other people that are in law enforcement and first responders kind of get to that goal of financial freedom. You know, I'm very active on social media. I'm sure many of you see my reels. Ilya, he has the experience when it comes down to wholesaling and being a mentor and being a great closer when it comes down to deals. So we really want to combine our strong suits. You know, my purpose is to help other police officers to find their purpose and to find fulfillment, whether it's while staying on the job or not. And Ilya, his ability is to, you know, he's a man of God just like me. You know, I should be saying that first, but, you know, he has found wholesaling as a way to free him up and be one of the most profitable guys in the country. So combine our talents and build something special. So we'll be talking about that further.
For sure. Yeah, I'm looking forward.
Yes, sir.
All right, man. Well, as usual, guys, you know, thanks everybody for joining this live. We really appreciate the support, the likes, the comments. You know, spread this video to anybody you think may benefit from it. And, you know, as always, just want to see you guys win. So crush it.
Yes, and God bless everybody. Have a happy Thanksgiving. Eat good. Take care of yourselves. And if you need any help, reach out to us. We're more than willing to help you. Anybody that's already wholesaling, don't slow down. Enjoy your turkey, enjoy your stuff and all of that. But the next day, get an hour or two in. Or you know, just do what you've been doing. But don't slow down. Don't stop completely.
Black Friday deal, cash offer, right? Present.
Oh. There you go. That works.
Yeah, there we go. God bless, guys. Catch you later.
All right. Take care, everybody. God bless.
Yeah.